Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are all in a good condition. Thank you to Allah that given us time. So today we can continue our material in psycholinguistic subject. We are from a group would like to discuss about learner strategies. Here I'm Alfia as the first speaker, Wilda Al-Aluf as the second speaker, and then Maufiratul Hasanah as the last speaker. Now I would like to explain to you about the learning strategies definition. Learning strategies are defined as specific action, behaviors, steps, or techniques such as seeking out conversation partners or giving oneself encouragement to take a difficult language task used by students to enhance their own learning. We are, as a language learner, we must know that there are two important factors that influence us as a language learner. First, learning style, and the second is learning strategies. Learning strategies determine how well we learn language or our second language. We are, as a language learner, we can choose strategies that fit to our learning style and the second language task at hand. The strategies become a usable toolkit for active, conscious, and purposeful self-regulation of learning. So we can choose strategies that fit to us, and then it can be make us easier to learn a new language. Okay, next I would like to explain to you about types of learning strategies. Learning strategies can be classified into six groups: cognitive, metacognitive, memory-related, compensatory, affective, and social. First, cognitive strategies enable the learners to manipulate the language material in direct ways. For example, through reasoning, analyze, note-taking, summarizing, reorganizing information to develop stronger themes. Second, metacognitive strategies refers to method used to help students understand the way they learn. So in metacognitive strategies, we can use method that fit to us. It can be make us easier to learn a new language. For example, identifying one's own learning style, preference, and needs, gathering and organizing material, arranging a study space and schedule. So in metacognitive strategies, we can monitoring mistakes and evaluating task success or not are employed for managing the learner process overall. Okay, the next type is memory-related strategies. In these strategies, help learners link one second language items or concept with another, but do not necessarily involve deep understanding. Compensatory strategies help the learner make up for missing knowledge. For example, guessing from the context in listening and reading, using synonym and talking around the missing word to aid speaking and writing. Next is affective strategies. Learning strategies concerned with managing emotion, both negative and positive. In these strategies, identifying one's mood and anxiety level, talking about feeling, rewarding oneself for good performance, and using deep breathing or positive self-talk. Okay, the last strategies is social strategies. Strategies help the learner to achieve more effective language learning and obtain a better understanding of different culture. People feelings, attitude, anxieties, and motivation have an impact on the progress of language learning and performance. For example, asking question to get verification, asking for clarification of a confusing point, asking for help in doing a language task. So these strategies help the learner work with others and understanding the target culture as well as the language. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your attention. And the next will be explained by my partner. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wilda Al-Aluf and I'm as the second speaker would like to explain about learning style. Learning style are the general approaches, for example, global or analytical, auditory or visual, that students use in acquiring a new language or in learning any other subject. Learning style are the overall patterns that give general direction to learning behavior. So it means the term learning style speaks to understand that every student learns differently. An individual's learning style refers to preferential way in which the student absorbs, processes, comprehends, and retains information. By understanding what kind of learning style, it can gain a better perspective on how to implement this learning style into study techniques. Next, types of learning style. There are 4 types of learning style. The first is desired degree of generality. The second is biological differences. The third, sensory preferences. And the last, personality types. Desired degree of generality. This term contrasts the learner who focuses on the main idea or big picture with the learner who concentrates on details. Desired degree of generality divided into 2. The first is global or holistic. Students like social, interactive, communicative events in which they can emphasize the main idea and avoid analysis of grammatical minuity. They are comfortable even when not having all the information, and they feel free to guess from the context. The second is analytic. Students tend to concentrate on grammatical details and often avoid more free-flowing communicative activities. Because of their concern for precision, analytic learners typically do not take the risk necessary for guessing from the context unless they are fairly sure of the accuracy of their guesses. The second types of learning style is biological differences. Differences in second language learning style can also be related to biological factors such as biorhythms, sustenance, and location. Biorhythms reveal the times of day when students feel good and perform their best. It means some second language learners are morning people, while others do not want to start learning until the afternoon. And still others are creatures of the evening, happily pulling an all-nighter when necessary. Next, sustenance refers to the need for food or drink while learning. It means quite a number of second language learners do not feel comfortable learning without a candy bar, a cup of coffee, or soda in hand, but others are distracted from study by food and drink. And the last is location, involves the nature of the environment, temperature, lighting, sound, and even the firmness of the chairs. Second language students differ widely with regard to these environment factors. The biological aspect of second language learning style are often forgotten, but vigilant teachers can often make accommodation and compromise when needed. Thank you for the attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, all of my friends and Miss Mega. How is your life today? I hope that you always stay healthy and keep spirit on your learning process. So now I will continue my friend's explanation. It is about types of learning style, and I will explain about sensory preferences and personality types. So the first is sensory preference. Sensory preference, it is refers to the physical or perceptual learning channels with which the student is the most comfortable. So, and sensory preferences can be broken down into four main areas. They are visual students, auditory students, kinesthetic, and tactile students. So the first is visual students. Visual students like to read and obtain a great deal from visual stimulation. So for them, lectures, conversations, and like oral direction without any visual backup can be very confusing. So they need visual backup. And the second, it is auditory student. So auditory students are comfortable without visual input and therefore enjoy and profit from unembellished lectures, conversations, and oral directions. And auditory students are excited by classroom interactions in like role plays and similar activities, and they are sometimes have difficulty with written work. And next is about kinesthetic and tactile students. So they are like lots of movement and enjoy working with tangible objects, collage, and flashcards. So, for example, like sitting at a desk for very long is not for them. They prefer to have frequent breaks and move around the room than sitting at a desk for very long. And next, it is about personality types. Personality types consist of four strands. It is extroverted versus introverted, and the second is intuitive random versus sensing sequential, and the third is thinking versus feeling, and the fourth is closure oriented or judging versus open or perceiving. So the first is extroverted versus introverted. Extroverts students gain their energy from the external world. For example, they want interaction with people and many friendship, and it may be some deep or some not. And the second is introvert student. They are derive their energy from the internal world. So they are seeking solitude and tending to have just a few friendships, which are often very deep. Jadi introvert ini adalah kebalikan dari extrovert. But extroverts and introverts can learn to work together with the help of the teacher. Enforcing time limits in the second language learning classroom can keep extroverts' enthusiasm to a manageable level. And rotating the person in charge of leading second language discussions give introverts the opportunity to participate equally with extroverts. So the second is intuitive random versus sensing sequel. The first is intuitive random. So intuitive random students think in abstract, futuristic, large-scale, and non-sequential ways. So they like to create theories and new possibilities, often have sudden insights, and they are prefer to guide their own learning. Okay, and the second is sensing sequential. So sensing sequential learners, they are grounded in the here and now. So it means they like facts, fakta rather than theories. Jadi mereka lebih menyukai fakta-fakta daripada teori. And they want guidance and specific instruction from the teacher and look for consistency. And the third, it is thinking versus feeling student. So thinking students or learners, they are oriented toward to stark truth, even if it hurts some people's feeling. It's like they want to be viewed as competent and don't tend to offer praise easily, even though they might secretly desire to be praised themselves. And sometimes they seem detached. And for feeling students, they are value other people in very personal ways. For example, they show empathy, and compassion through words, not just behaviors, and say whatever is needed to smooth over difficult situations. And then they often wear their hearts and their sleeves, and also they want to be respected for personal contributions and hard work. And in second language teachers can help thinking learners show greater over compassion to their feeling classmates and can suggest that feeling learners might tone down their emotional expressions while working with thinking learners. And the fourth is closure oriented or judging versus open or perceiving students. So the first is closure oriented students. They are want to reach judgments or completion quickly and want clarity as soon as possible. The students are serious and hardworking learners who like to be given written information and enjoy specific tasks with deadlines. And sometimes their desire for closure hampers the development of fluency. And the second is open learners. So they want to stay available for continuously new perceptions and are therefore sometimes they call perceiving. They take second language learning less seriously, treating it like a game to be enjoyed rather than a set of tasks to be completed. Jadi ini juga kebalikan dari closure oriented or judging students. And open learners dislike deadlines. They want to have a good time and seem to soak up second language information by osmosis rather than hard effort. And they are sometimes do better than closure-oriented learners in developing fluency. and also but they are at a disadvantage in a traditional classroom setting. So like traditional classroom setting is not for open learners. So these all types of learning styles are the overall patterns that give general direction to learning behavior. And learning styles are not like black or white, present or absent. So learning styles generally operate on a continuum or on multiple and intersecting continua. For example, a person might be more extroverted than introverted, or like more closure oriented than open, or equally visual and auditory but with lesser kinesthetic and tactile involvement. And few, if any, people could be classified as having all or nothing in any of these categories, like that. Okay, so maybe that's all my explanation. If you have any question, you can drop your question in WA group. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.